Hola, estudiantes! Today we're going to be taking a look at por and para, which is in chapter 11 of your textbook, Vistas. Now, por and para have many different translations in English that don't exactly correspond with for and by as we conceptualize them. Many times you've probably been taught that por is roughly for and para is by. Sometimes this is true, other times this isn't. Generally, we can think as para as being related to the final deadline or destination, and por as being related to the route. We have to conceptualize them a little bit differently according to the case, but many times they figure that way. However, not in all cases, and that's what we're going to be going over today. So I'm going to use my routine. I teach at two universities, so I'm very busy, and I have a lot of uses of por and para in my everyday life. So I start at 8:30 in the morning. I leave my house, and yo voy para la carretera 315 para llegar a Delaware. So let's remember that por is related to the route and para is related to the deadline or destination. So I'm going by way of the 315, so por, in order to arrive in Delaware, para, because Delaware is my destination. Now at 9:50 a.m., you'll see me in my office getting ready to go teach for the day. Voy por o para la clase de español. So the clase de español, is that my destination here or am I passing by it? It is my destination, so in this case I use para. From 10 to 2 p.m., tengo que enseñar por o para 4 horas. In this case, it's por. Por is related to time. How long something takes is por. So para is the deadline, la tarea es para el lunes, por is a duration of time. Trabajé en la tarea por 4 horas. Viernes, on Fridays from 12 to 1, I'm usually in my office waiting for any one of you to show up, although you guys never do, and that makes me actually kind of sad. Estoy en mi oficina por o para una hora. So here we're talking about a duration of time. Duration of time is por. Now at 2 p.m., I leave Delaware and I drive all the way back down to Columbus to get to OSU to my other job. Again, we have voy por la carretera, because we're traveling by way of the highway, para llegar a Ohio State, because Ohio State is the destination. From 4 to 6 p.m., tengo que enseñar para o por 2 horas más. So I have to teach for 2 more hours. Of course, here we're talking of a duration of time. Duration of time is, you got it, por. From 7 to 9 p.m., here we see my friend Amanda. Now, she also teaches at Ohio State, and she seems to have grown some black X's over her eyes. So she's not going to teach tonight until they go away. So a veces enseño por o para mi amiga Amanda porque está enferma. And you'll see me taking her place there. I float in with my chalkboard. Now in this case, we're talking about a substitution, so we use por. Para indicates the direction. Now this is where we can get into some interesting comparisons. Very similar sentences, one word difference, completely different meanings. Yo compro un regalo por mi madre versus yo compro un regalo para mi madre. In the case of por mi madre, that would mean that maybe my mother is too busy, she can't buy a gift for my aunt for her birthday, so I go and buy it in place of her, a substitution. Yo compro un regalo para mi madre indicates direction. The direction is my mother, so I'm buying a gift for my mother. Maybe it's her birthday. So por, substitution, para, direction. At 9 p.m., I take me and my chalkboard. We end up going home, and as you can see, I live in a haunted house. So voy por para la casa. So la casa, in this case, is that my destination? It is, so I'm using para. Yo voy por o para Target. Now, is Target my destination here? No, my destination is the house, so I'm just passing by Target. It's on the route, so it's por. Yo voy por Target. At 10 p.m., I'm still not done. Yo planeo la clase por o para el día siguiente. Here we use para because the deadline is the next day. para el día siguiente. El libro fue escrito por Vista Higher Learning. This roughly corresponds to buy in English. Lo compré por o para $200. And here we use por. The explanation of this, exchange, en cambio, yo compré el libro por $200. So many times when we're talking about money, we'll use por. It's an exchange. You exchange money for a good. Obtuve los zapatos de ella por mi mochila. So I obtained her shoes for my book bag. If you'd like to trade shoes for book bags, you would use por because we're talking about an exchange. Also, something done by somebody. El libro fue escrito por ella. Or a motivation. Voy por ti. I'm coming for you. Other uses of para that I haven't gone over here. Commonly, it would translate into in order to. For example, para ganar dinero hay que trabajar. In order to earn money, one has to work. Note here that after por and para, if we have a verb, it will be in the infinitive because por and para are prepositions. After prepositions, we don't conjugate verbs. Para is also used for opinion. Very commonly, para mí la familia es muy importante. Sort of translates into, in my opinion, family is very important. We don't really have a direct translation for that in English. So whenever you see para mí, para ti, para él, etc., we're talking about opinion. Here, generally, we have a list of things that por and para are used for. Por, movement, by and through, whereas para is movement as in a destination, where I talked about driving on the 315 to Delaware. Por la carretera para llegar a Delaware. Por a duration of time, the homework took 3 hours. Yo trabajé en la tarea por 3 horas. In place of, where I switched out with my friend Amanda. Commonly with cost, who did something. La clase fue enseñada por mí. Or motivation, because of. For example, last week, no enseñé la clase por la enfermedad. I didn't teach class because of my sickness or being sick. I had a cold last week, of course. Para is movement, destination, which we've already done. A deadline. La tarea es para mañana. The homework is for tomorrow. In order to. Para sacar buenas notas, hay que estudiar. In order to get good grades, one has to study. Or opinion. Para mí, para ti, etc. Now this is a general overview of por and para, which is found in Chapter 11 of your Vistas textbook. Thank you for watching, and good luck.